All right. Well, hey, coaches, Out for Change. It is our weekly team time. It is Monday, July 22nd already. So we are getting ready for convention this week. Meg and I were kind of talking. We're like, what should we do this week? Because we know people are mentally preparing for convention, and we just thought we would talk about that a little bit to do tonight. What to do if you're going to convention, what to do if you're not going to convention, and what might be associated with that, and then just kind of go over some of the fundamentals, the basics of what it is we're doing as we kind of go through the season of transition, and really just kind of use tonight as a discussion. So just a couple of logistics, just a reminder that at 8 o'clock, right after this, we'll do our weekly watch party, and our very own Meg is leading the national call tonight. So that's why she's all glammed up over there, totally ready to roll. So she'll be with us for the first part of the call. And then after that, anybody who's going to convention, we're going to group together at 8:30 right here in the same room, just to kind of, connect as a group and talk about logistics for the next few days when we get to be together. So that is that. Meg, I thought maybe you might just want to jump in and talk about tonight's call and how we kind of thought that would translate into this call.
Absolutely. And hopefully y'all can hear me okay. So tonight our call is on the foundations of our program. You're going to hear from JC Dornick and Greg Rex, two coaches that have been around over 20 years. So combined longer than I've even been alive, which blows my mind. So they are just tremendous, incredibly wise guys. And what I love about delving into the fundamentals of our plan is that it really increases our credibility. When I see how our foundations were created and I see the heart that was poured into it and is continued to be poured into, it really gives me so much peace that our program is just rock solid. It was created for the right reasons. It's incredibly credible and just rocking and rolling. So excited for tonight, excited for those two guys to speak, and would love for you guys to be on.
Well, we will definitely be cheering you on. And you can use this time if you have somebody in mind, one of your clients, just text them the link to come in here and join the watch party with us. I think knowledge is power. And the more our clients really understand our program and what's behind it and why it works, the more that they can get the bigger picture than what usually the assumptions are naturally from somebody who comes from kind of a dieting mentality. I think when that comes in, so Meg, yes, we could hear you. Good. But I think with credentials, I know every time I go, that's why I go to convention. That's why I go to events, because the more I learn, the more I understand, the more passionate I am about this. So we will talk a lot about convention this week. You're going to see pictures from the team there. Just encourage you to have an open mind. I know some of you guys wanted to go there and didn't qualify, or the timing wasn't right once it did open up with it. And so just know our hearts are with you. Like, we're just there representing our team, but we are a team. So even if you're not there, just know that you are there with us. We'll do a regroup and a debrief next Monday night. But I really want to encourage you. I've been a part of the planning for what's called Synergy, which is a virtual event that's taking place the following Saturday. So on Saturday, August 3rd, would encourage you, whether you're attending convention or you're not attending convention, it's for all of us, basically taking what corporate is giving us out from, what we're going to receive, what was corporate driven, but how do we as the field come together and keep focused on the mission, keep focused on transformation, what it is that we are really about. So there are some stellar leaders, including Dr. A, that are going to be speaking, but it's going to be really about how do you take this information and then how do you really apply it and run with it out. And we've got Commit to Health this month that's available the rest of the month. That's the $75 off. And we've got the Business Builder, and all of the Commit to Health actually runs till August 9th. So we've got a lot of opportunity to start conversations with people and continue that. So talking about a couple of things, like what is it that's needed? Like when you're an entrepreneur, when you're a coach, what is really needed? And I heard a really good podcast from Kristen Boss, who I really like listening to her. And she's a direct sales guru, been actively involved in it herself and really good at coaching individuals in the industry that we're in. And we're not alone that our environment has changed. You know, there's a lot of different factors behind it, but what she's constantly doing is evolving and her messaging to what's going on in today's world. It's not like, okay, just do what you've always done and you'll get there, because the wheel, you know, the cheese keeps moving on us. But one thing she said, and I thought that this was really powerful, was around the area of commitment. So when we're talking about the fundamentals, I kind of thought of the 3 C's. And one I thought was commitment, or clarity of why are you are doing this. And she spoke about it in a way that I thought was insightful, because she said, a good thing to do for each of us is to evaluate your commitment to your business, to this mission in today's world. So that what that means is coming to acceptance, like, this is our environment. This is, right? It's not like was before with just post on social media and people come flocking, right? Like, it is a business that still requires us to make connections, conversations, but are you willing to accept it as it is? Not how we hope it will come back to, not that we, wish it was easier, but are you willing to take what it is and that commitment and keep moving forward with a willingness to learn, to grow into what's required of us today? So I'm hoping, oh, there she is. There's my friend Kelly. Kelly, I wanted you to share, because you are one that's always just kind of stood out with such clarity and commitment to what we're doing. So I know, like us, like everybody, your business has probably fluctuated over the past year or so, but just wanted you to share with the team a bit about your thoughts.
About my clarity.
And commitment, yeah.
Okay, yeah. For me, commitment is just being really consistent, seeing the, to me, this is something that, in my healthcare background, trying to help people get healthier, get away from medications, that kind of thing, helping them with real health problems. This business gives us that opportunity. It gives every single one of us that opportunity. And I'm just thrilled that we can do that. We don't have to have a medical background to do it, because we have all the tools. We have it all. And going to every single thing that I can have the opportunity to go to, whether it's online, with that our leadership provides or Optavia provides, in person, that's been, it's not just a shot in the arm. It's also real practical stuff to use every time. And it's just like when you watch a movie or read a book, the next time you watch the movie or read the book, you notice details you didn't notice the first time. And so it also depends on where you are, if you're ready to receive it, if you're at that point for it not to go over your head, because we can only absorb so much. And so that has meant a lot. For me, I guess secret sauce, it's not really a secret, it's posting. I post all the time, every single day. So something. And I do have certain days that I kind of try to focus certain things. Like I have certain days that I definitely do it. I don't do transformation posts every day. I have certain days I do transformation posts, certain days that I'm doing, different type of themes of the post. So that keeps me consistent. It keeps me organized. So I know what I'm supposed to be focusing on. And when I notice things, if I read something, if I hear something that somebody says, even in sermons at church, if I'm listening to something, I'm like, oh, that would be really good to bring up, I'll jot it down in my notes. I have notes in my phone and I jot it down, and it's labeled for post. And I put those little phrases in there. And then when I'm looking to try to figure out what I want to post that day, I'll just scroll through those, and I've got material, because I'm not going to think about it. You can sit at one time and do several posts and schedule them, or you can just do it every morning. I post a lot on LinkedIn and Facebook, but I post a lot on LinkedIn. That's where a lot of my folks come from, is that LinkedIn. And it takes time to build that up. It takes time you have to nurture it. But it's something that has been proven to be productive. Not everybody that comes to me that I do a call with is going to sign up, just like anywhere else. I'm also part of a BNI group in my area. And I chose to go to one that's further away from me because they're more active. Because I thought if I'm going to bother doing this and spend my time and money doing it, it needs to be productive. So I go to this BNI group and they refer to me, I refer to them. You get to know the people so you know who you're referring to. You're not just, it's not some wild random person. And so you become, much closer to those individuals. So taking those opportunities with your community to be involved and connect with individuals definitely helps. And being consistent online. Just one of the things that Frank and Shauna taught me was if you're not posting, they don't know your store's open. They don't know that you're available. And so you got to let them know the store is open and they can come to you. Whenever my Facebook was hacked and I didn't have it for about 3 weeks and Facebook wasn't responding, and I went ahead and just made a new one. I'm trying to slowly build it back up again, and Facebook will only let you send so many invitations at a time. So it's taking time, but I'm still consistent and I'm posting. And people have said, "Oh, I wondered where you were. I missed you," because they had been used to seeing it. And so they were wondering where I was. I always appreciated those posts. They were inspirational or positive or whatever. And so that's something that makes a difference. But I always tie it in. Use a little story, some kind of little story. You're telling some kind of little tidbit or some kind of inspirational something, and you tie it in, just like getting healthy. Da 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 da. And so there's ways to do that. There's stuff in our lives. I messed up and broke a glass bowl in the kitchen one day, and it fell and crashed on the tile. And I took a picture of it and I posted that one time and talked about how we make mistakes and sometimes we're just in too big of a hurry and we make mistakes. And then I returned that back around to getting healthy and how we don't have to be perfect. And so people were like, "Oh my goodness," because everybody's broken a dish before. So it's just stuff like that. Just everyday things can be a part of a post.
Thank you, Kelly. I mean, so many good things. I mean, it's so funny. I'm just starting to reread the book Today I Begin a New Life by Dave Blanchard. And we can look at every day, like, right? I know we have new coaches on this call. We have coaches with a lot of experience, but every day is an opportunity to start new, right? And maybe shift something, start something, stop something that can help you impact more people. And so I love that, Kelly, like how you pivoted, et cetera. And somebody asked in the comments, do you post the same thing on LinkedIn as you post on Facebook?
I can use the same sometimes, not exactly. You've got a different audience for Facebook than you do LinkedIn. But if I put it on LinkedIn, it's okay to put it on Facebook, but I have to change up some wording a lot of times because on LinkedIn, they're expecting more of a business style, and on Facebook, they're not. So I change up some wording a little bit, but basically it's the same picture. It's the same message. I just change it up just a tad, maybe just a line or two for Facebook. And then so I'm still not working. I'm not working real hard, and I save all those. I save all of my posts so that in case, because 3 months down the road, they don't remember that. You can use it again. You don't have to have new content all the time.
Oh, right. Yeah, that's so true. I often go through my memories on Facebook, and if I have something that got a lot of attention a couple of years ago, I will either just comment on it and push it back up in my newsfeed, or just regurgitate it and put it out again. So I think the messaging is just so clear, just to be people need to know who you are, what you stand for, right? If you haven't been on LinkedIn, that could be an avenue to pursue, because we are professional health coaches, a way to posture yourself in a different market with some new connections. But continuing, I love that, letting people know the store is open. And you're also physically getting out and meeting people in order to increase those connections. And you're in something like BNI, you've got to give back and give referrals to other people. So you're in a reciprocal kind of, you're not just trying to gain clients, you're also looking to give back into your community. So real important. So I think that's so important, guys, and all those things only happen when you're really clear on what it is you're doing, what you're offering, why it's important, what it does to your family, and your commitment to that. So that's all tied in. The next, and Kelly touched on it, is the consistency would be the second C, is just showing up. And so often when we don't get that immediate return on our efforts, right? We've done it. We've been out there and we don't feel like we're getting that return. What we tend to do is shrink back. And we shrink back and we stop showing up as much. And that is just going to it's kind of like a boulder rolling down the hill, right? It's coming back down the hill so that it's going to be harder to push it back up. So the consistency, what happens is if you stay consistent, then when the environment changes, you've already been there, the pieces were in place, you're ready to roll. And that is something I have witnessed in Frank and Shauna's business. I mean, I hope it's fair for me to say, I mean, like all of us, when you own a business, you're going to have periods where you're booming. You're going to have periods when you're not booming. It's what happens at what you're doing in both of those times that makes the difference in the overall longevity of your business and the impact. So Frank, I was wondering if you could just touch on that a little bit.
Yep, sure can. Thank you, Dee. So like many of you, a couple years ago, we had a thriving business. And also, like many of you, our business has declined. And not really a decline in our frontline volume, but a decline in our group. And coaches quit. Coaches quit showing up on team time. Coaches, they feel that disappointment and they feel that failure and they quit. And coaches are suffering from fatigue. And last year, during convention, we were also suffering from fatigue. We went across stage in 2021 as global directors. And last year at convention, it had been 2 years since we went across stage. And not only did we not move up, we went down. And honestly, things really haven't gotten much better. Executive directors have fallen off like flies. We once had a FIBIC. Today, that FIBIC is gone. Not even a coach anymore. So yes, we're disappointed. Yes, we're tired. And we have questioned our future with Optavia. Many days we wanted to quit, do something else. But last year at convention, there were a couple people that were called on stage, and they were talking about the consistency of their business, specifically about the client support bonus and what it had done for their business. They weren't IPDs or anything. They were just kind of like average people that got called up with a whiteboard. So I heard them talk and I asked myself one question. What can I control? I couldn't control if coaches showed up on team time. I can't control if a coach posts online. I couldn't control if a coach asked for help. I can only control my attitude and my action. Now, we have a handful of great coaches. We have the foundation with some good coaches. Many of them are on here now. You just heard from Kelly. But last year we decided we needed to add to that foundation. We needed to build a different team. And we knew it started with being consistent and filling that funnel. And I also knew it took time. And I said it all begins with the client consistency bonus, filling that funnel every single month. That's something I can control. And now we have earned that client consistency bonus every single month for 12 straight months. And guess what? We still haven't moved up significantly. We still don't have that big win. And there's a clue about success. We didn't expect that big win after just a few months. But we knew if we kept doing the small things, the things that don't look dramatic and probably don't even look like they matter, and we do it over and over and over and over, sooner or later, that big win is going to come. And right there is where so many people quit. You see, most people quit after a very short time if they don't see results. People quit after the first couple no's. People quit when they get a pay raise at work. People quit when somebody laughs at them. People quit when they put their weight back on. And I get it. It's hard. It's hard to keep going when nothing seems like it's happening. But success doesn't happen that way. Now, I'm far, far from perfect. Shauna can testify to that. Lori Cole can testify to that. Dee Corchin can say, I can give you an amen. There's many times, an hour before team time, I said, I'm not tuning in. There's many times I eat the wrong thing, and I wonder if I'm a good coach. And convention is this week. And honestly, I'm not excited about attending. This afternoon, true story, this afternoon, I thought I felt a little warm, so I took a COVID test. True story. I was looking for an excuse to get out of convention. Plus, I'm overweight and I'm tired. I'm tired of posting when nobody responds. I'm tired of sending a text message to a coach reminding them about this team time, and not only do they not show up, but they don't respond. I'm tired of people sending their kit back. I'm tired of the same old fuelings, and I still have cravings. I want a chocolate donut. But I have to keep reminding myself, what can I control? I can control how often and when and where I make online posts. I can control how much time I spend reading. I can control if I eat a healthy meal or pizza. I can control if I increase the number of eyeballs that see my online post. I can control what my health assessment sounds like and where it needs improvement. I can control if I allow disappointment to throw me off the tracks. So here's what we do. Shauna and I work as a team. I tend to be the driver. She's the heart of the business. And we show up. We show up on team time. Many days when we don't feel like it. We frequently show up on the Thursday time for you. Many times when we don't feel like it. Shauna and I just flew down to Florida. We attended Dr. A. Dan Bell event. We didn't feel like it. We just keep doing it. And we're nothing special. We have no special gifts and no special talent. So I'm not telling anybody what to do or what to feel. I'm just saying what we have to do. We have to do all the fundamental little things. And as much as we want to quit some days, we say tomorrow is another day. We say we are going to show up. We are going to keep doing it. And I believe breakthrough is coming, and it's coming quickly. Thank you, Dee.
Wow, thank you for your raw honesty around that. I think 99% of that could have come out of my mouth with the same feelings, emotions that, I think we're human, right? So I think it's normal. So if you've had those kind of feelings that Frank has described, just know it's normal. Like even people that are, might be at a higher level than you, or it looks like their business is growing more, whatever, we're all going through. It's part of business ownership. And so what you just said at the end, Frank, reminded me, like, sometimes I'll get discouraged and I'll think, and sometimes it seems easier, doesn't it? Like, maybe I should just do something else, right? But I think about it, I thought, well, what would I do? Would I go back to a job like 9 to, like, are you kidding me? Like be in an office from 8 to 5, be told, X amount of vacation days. I mean, the way Dr. A describes, he's like, once the toothpaste is out of the tube, like you don't want to go back in that environment. And so the way I look at it, no matter everything in life, especially with work, right? It's at the end of the day, it's work, right? So what do you want? And that showing up, doing it anyway, which is the same thing when it comes to our health, when it comes to our eating, when it comes to exercising. 90% of the time, you're not going to feel like it, but it's doing it anyway. And then just to share with you guys, like, I mean, Frank and Shauna have earned the bonus over the past 12 months, which is a remarkable accomplishment. And that's so such a good example. When you set that goal, you guys made a decision. The power of when you make a decision of what's going to happen, then you did the work behind it. But I've seen you get just 3% bonuses sometimes 5%. But this month, I mean, they're one away from getting the 7% bonus. At last I looked, maybe you're there, but you're one away from getting, you know, like to be the first one on our team to do that, which is phenomenal. So just evidence of when you continue to show up, that persistence, the consistency. But the best part is we've got 2 brand new coaches on this call tonight that are the result of those efforts, right? Of Frank and Shauna, because they continued to show up so that they were then able to step into Optavia, take control of their health, and now have this incredible gift we have of coaching. So that's the cool part about it. And that's the real meaning and purpose of what we're doing. And the last, I would say, so we've got the commitment, the consistency, and the last is just to stay connected. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, right? But just like Frank said, I know that there are probably times that you're like, I just, you know what, not tonight. No, you know what, you know, you don't, you know, the virtual event, it can feel like, oh, is it another thing? But staying connected with like-minded people, staying connected to this meaning, this purpose, and this mission is really the game changer for staying. You got to stay engaged. And I had shared this a few weeks ago. Nancy Strauss had shared it with me, but and speaking, Kelly, of things coming from sermons, I do that all the time because I feel like those are great life messages. But her thing said, so we talked about the 3 C's. Nancy's was avoid the 3 D's. And they were that disappointment leads to disillusionment. And then disillusionment leads to disconnection, and disconnection leads to death. Because when we let go, the way I view it is we just start floating out to sea, right? And we're just out there, we're treading water, and we're out by ourselves. So I am so grateful because you guys fuel me. And I'm hoping you feel that same kind of energy back to staying engaged in what really matters. And every single one of us, I know my life is radically changed, and I can forget that sometimes how radically changed my life is. So I think if we can always keep in perspective what Optavia has done for us, I think for me, I mean, it's like it's stewardship, right? It's a responsibility to pay it forward. But I think the sermon for yesterday in my church was around comparison. It was around envy, and always stepping into that place of gratitude for what we have. And like Frank said, control what you can control. That's it. So would love to maybe open this up if anybody has any comments, if anything resonated with you today, or maybe if there's something you thought of that you could do or stop doing related to your commitment, consistency, connection.
I'll say something.
Sure, I love you, and Amanda, go.
I just want to say, I guess, thank you guys for sharing. I mean, Kelly obviously is my coach, and Sean and Frank are my upline, I guess, for lack of a better term. But you know, I've been a coach for 2 years now, and I have 2 clients right now, which is amazing. But I've got one that I'm really having to do a lot of extra work with, and you guys inspire me daily. So just remember, like I try to remember that you're always a lighthouse to somebody, guys, and you guys are definitely, all of you really, that are a lighthouse. I see you, I see what you're doing. And you inspire me to keep going when it feels hopeless. So thanks, y'all.
Oh, thank you, Amanda. I think I didn't you get an award last year? It was like for always showing up. Like you just really are an amazing individual. And And how much has Optavia changed your life? How much have you lost, Amanda?
Over 100 pounds. Like everybody, it's definitely a roller coaster. But I'm still keeping it steadily under 100 pounds lost. But yeah, I still say that, that the community is what makes all the difference with this. And if I never have another client again, I think that I probably would stay a coach just to be in community with you guys, because each and every one of you are so inspiring and add so much to my life and help me with my mindset, just with your inspiring posts and comments.
That is so beautiful. I would honestly say every dollar I've made in Optavia, I would bet and win. It's why you've still maintained 100-pound weight loss, because you have been in this environment, you've showed up, you've stayed engaged, and you've kept your head in the game. So that's the other piece, is always to remember the impact it's having on our own personal health, even when you don't feel perfect or we've slipped up in some way. So all right. Well, thank you for that. All right. We're going to stop the recording for this. We've got some clients coming in. We're going to have our watch party, watching our very own Meg Johnson. And then if you're going to convention, stay on after. We're just going to do a short meeting about that. So, all right, here we go. We'll let everybody in. Stop this recording. Just bear with me.